Hello, we are Geeks Assembled, and it's horror night, and tonight we are going back to 1922. Yes, Lee would have been 35 around this time when this movie came out, and we are talking about Nosferatu. And we're going to jump straight in. Let's go to Susan. Just let her put her teeth back in. There we go.
Hello. Oh God. Yeah, you can't even understand me.
No, carry on. It's brilliant. We'll put some subtitles along the bottom. Lee will sort it out.
No, just let me just do this. Nosferatu is the story of Count Orlok, who has a desire to move from Czechoslovakia to Bremen, Germany, because that's what you do. And he saw Hutter's girlfriend in a picture, and he's like, that one, I want her. But he had been busy chewing on the locals and he started chewing on Hutter the minute he showed up. And his first victim from Bremen was the guy who had sent Hutter, who was his real estate agent boss. Anyway, so this is all kind of a very important tribute to Dracula, but the filmmaker had not received permission to use Dracula as names or whatever. But the DVD that I watched had completely it was funny. It was all, you're supposed to go to Count Dracula's castle at the beginning, and instead of calling him Hutter, they called him Harker, and instead of calling his wife Ellen, they called her Nina. So I mean, the version that I watched had just taken it all and returned it to the realm of Dracula. And it was gruesome seeing Max Schreck performance of Nosferatu. The kind of vampire that he was one of those ones without any beauty, not any gentility, just kind of more the monstrous form of a vampire. And the romance was out. And the final question was not how would Harker and his friends back in Bremen kill him. It was how Ellen would actually give her life to drain his strength, and then the sun would come up and he would be vanquished at that point. And so it was a great noble sacrifice at the end for Ellen, and I enjoyed it.
I have to say, I was pretty pleased that she died at the end. It made it worth the watch. Let's go to Stephen Price.
Did she really die, though?
Yeah, she died. Let's go to Stephen Price.
Yeah, I love this movie. I've watched it so many times.
You only needed to watch it once.
No, I'd seen it many times before Geeks Assembled were even thought of.
What? Was there a time? No.
I've watched the filming locations and the castle where I can't remember the name of the castle. It showed where he meets like Harker, walking through. Nothing. They were showing parts of it. Nothing has changed there. It looks exactly the same. Loved the movie, the creepiness of it, and the best part of it is where you see him going up the stairs. That part that really is the best
The
part.
shadow, yeah.
Yeah, best part of the film. I did see a talking version of it, which was absolutely terrible. Don't even go there.
There's a version where they talk.
Yeah, I can't remember the actor's name, but it was terrible. I didn't like it. He didn't. The only actor to play this part was the actor that played in this movie. I can't remember the guy's name, but it was god awful. And
Max Schreck.
yeah. Oh, there's Dracula. Look.
Did you watch the same version that I did on YouTube, that HD one, didn't you?
Yeah. Because it was. I started watching another one. I thought, no, this doesn't look right. There was lines everywhere, and when I seen the HD version, I knocked that one off and watched the HD version.
Yeah, the HD version looked really good, actually.
Because anybody's into Charlie Chaplin films, they got loads of Charlie Chaplin HD out there, and they are brilliantly done.
There you go.
So,
Is that it? Yeah. Let's go to Lee, because we have to.
Of course you do.
Not by popular demand.
What you got to realise that Nosferatu, given its full title, a Symphony of Horror.
Like Geeks Assembled.
Yeah, it's nearly 100 years old. This movie, and it's still.
So you can relate to it. You can relate.
Well, it still stands the test of time, and if the makers of this movie was taken to court by the estate of Bram Stoker back in the day, and they won the court case. The Stoker family won the court case, and the court demanded that the makers of Nosferatu destroyed all the copies of this movie. But a couple remained, was put aside and found. So if they'd got their own way and everything was burnt and destroyed, we'd never have seen this movie at all. Well, that's what plagiarism is all about, I suppose. Max Schreck, German actor, really portrays Count Orlok. Brilliant. It's like a spidery, evilly, I mean, the way the shadow play on the walls and all that is just brilliantly done. I was talking to Alec before we started about the way that we're using the freeze frame stop motion sort of thing, making them quicker the characters up. Back in 1922, that was big technology then. It is an unauthorized version of Dracula. It's the same story from beginning to end. Say the transport of the coffins across the ocean. The coach picking up to go to the castle. It's all in the original draft of Dracula, but the German film company just changed all the name, and they made the Nosferatu creature ugly, and that's a good thing. in my books, because as we mentioned, ever since then, every vampire has been good looking. Since Bela Lugosi, it's a good looking vampire. Apart from Salem's Lot, which I would say
returned returned to the same form.
Yeah, it was very similar looking to Count Orlok, with the ears, the teeth.
And a lot of anime vampires are the same as Count Orlok. They return that style returns.
Yeah, and I think I prefer that sort of style to this suave, good-looking, who just looks like a human being, wears sunglasses during the day, as Gary Oldman did. But yeah, Max Schreck. I mean, I don't know much about this actor, German actor, but he was top of his game back then in the silent movies, and he did go into talkies as well. And Ethan will mostly say this as well. There was a nod to Max Schreck in Batman Returns. Christopher Walken played the character Max Schreck. But yeah, it's a good movie. As I say, for nearly a 100-year-old film, it's very atmospheric. And to me, it's not too long, because when I saw the time, I thought, it's nearly an hour and a half. For a silent movie, that is quite long. But it's shot by, and it didn't seem to drag, and it's so shot well, and I loved it. You know, this has been maybe the third time I've seen this now. So, but it's been a while since I've watched it last. But yeah, very good movie. Over to you, Alan.
Can I ask you a question? Was you under the influence of alcohol?
No blood.
Can I just say something? The remake was called Nosferatu, the Vampire, and it was made in 1979.
Klaus Kinski.
Yeah.
There we go. And let's go to Ethan. See what Ethan thinks.
Yeah, I had a blast watching this film, actually, if I'm being honest. I really did love it. I watched the version where it was, I didn't watch the HD version. I watched the other version, which looked older. But then just because I liked that, just to have that sort of feel and style. And the music, you've got all these versions where they do different music. This one I watched had an organ, and it added that sort of creepiness, that gothic style, and me with the hand here, that gothic style here. But no, and as you've all pointed out, it's an unauthorized adaptation of Dracula. I mean, if you've read the book or seen any adaptation, we've had that many adaptations, you know the story, how he goes to the castle, they meet, they ship the coffins over the sea, but they've obviously changed it. And Max Schreck as a Count Orlok was brilliant. I just love the design for him. He's just so creepy. There's something about some horror films where they don't seem as scary as how Count Orlok looked. When I think I watched this back in the 80s when I was a kid, where I was one of these ones which woke up at night to see what movies were on at night, because you think, the best films are coming on. And I caught it because there's one scene that always stood in my mind, and I remember this terrified me. And there's something about black and white films that nail it with this appearance. It was the scene where Hutter is looking through the door, and you see him in the far distance, Count Orlok, just looking straight at you. And even if you look at a HD one, his eyes are right at you, like straight at you, as if he's coming straight for you. That's scary as anything. That bloody terrified me as a kid. Just him standing there, just emotionless. And then, of course, Hunter runs up, hides in the bed, and that door opens up, and he's slowly walking up, and he's still looking straight at the camera. Max Schreck did a great job at making this guy emotionless and just almost just dead, which is what he is, undead, but just scary. And I don't think any horror film, that is to me more scary than any horror film we'll get today. You know, just that makeup, that look, the way he just looks straight at you, as if he's going to come out the TV and just slowly kill you or something. But
well, it was in 3D.
No.
Oh no, sorry, that was the other
You're
film.
thinking of another one. You're thinking of another one we're going to do after this one. Have you been to an alternate dimension where 3D was invented in 1922 instead of...
I'm too busy thinking about the next film. I'm about a week ahead. Oh no, Alex is on the cast. I'm about 5 minutes ahead.
But yeah, no, it's just... I mean, we get good horror. We get the odd horror for where it gets it right and creepy. But there was something about black and white films that always creeps me out. And I think this one just does a good job. And he as Lee said, he stood the test of time. The whole film Nosferatu and Count Orlok himself. Because we may have seen a handsome Dracula, Dracula, good-looking guy. Any version. My first Dracula was Christopher Lee. That's my Dracula. I'm showing my age here. That was my first Dracula. I loved him. But we've had different Draculas. We've had so many adaptations. But we have actually already mentioned Salem's Lot, but that look came back. But there's actually been other versions, and I've noticed for the past few years now, they've brought that look back. I think a few years back, there was not a few years back, but a couple of years ago, I think it was Dracula Untold. There's Charles Dance, who plays a vampire in it. He's the vampire who turns Dracula into a vampire. If you know Nosferatu or your movies, you could easily look at him and go, is he meant to be Nosferatu? Is Charles Dance secretly Nosferatu? He's not named in it, but he looks like Count Orlok, like white skin, the teeth, the fingers. And there was a TV show. Have we got anybody who watches The Strain? Lee. Yeah, even that, that's a great vampire show. That's a real different take.
Can I just clear that up? He's not on about your piles, Lee. He's on.
Oh no! Oh no!
He's got it right there.
Yes, The Strain. Very good show. But in that, the vampires are grace, like white skin, pointy. They look like Count Orlok. And I love that look. They're not handsome. They're ugly as anything. Even the vampire who leads them, or the Strigoi, they're called in it, they look like, they have that look. The white skin, pointy ears. And it's nice to see that look and style done in various things. So he's really made an influence, Count Orlok, for so many years. For an unauthorized adaptation, he's done really well, and it's really stood the test of time. So yeah, I had a blast watching this. I loved it. Great style, great look. Yeah, I loved it. Spot on.
I get this funny feeling that Ethan liked it. I don't know why. Someone's telling me that Ethan really enjoyed this film.
Really?
Yeah. But, yeah, well, the reason why vampires are so handsome today is because of young girls and women who like them.
Go into.
No, it's because
Twilight.
vampires represent sex.
Yeah, Twilight, yeah. And
No, I'm not talking just about Twilight. I'm talking about Frank Langella playing Dracula opposite, like, Sylvester McCoy and making him super freaking hot. Where many women have said that he would just say good evening and people would just swoon. Like, that was in 79. Same year as the other, the remake of Nosferatu, and I gotta tell you, that's Dracula. Romantic, able to completely undo people just by passion and stuff.
Well, I have to say, the Count was brilliant. The makeup and everything. And the actor who played him just all the movements, like the fingers and everything, and how slim he was it was just creepy. And Ethan is right. There's something about black and white films that just adds that layer of creepiness. And when he's standing there, like he's at the window of the building opposite, the one he's bought, and you can just see him, and he's just like, oh. And when he's coming from below deck of the ship, and he just pops up, and he's just freaky every time you look at him. He's just really unsettling when he's carrying the coffin from the ship as well, and everything like that. Just every scene he's in is really creepy. However, and I'm going to be the villain in all this, it was a little bit boring. I have to admit, it was a little bit boring. It was very slow. I thought it was overly long. Lee said it shot by. I felt like I was there for years. I could feel myself aging throughout this film as I was watching it. I mean, I felt as old as a vampire when it finished. The ending, like I said to Lee before we hit the record, I thought was pretty poor, actually. Even though the woman, the girlfriend, who was utterly annoying, she did die, which I thought was good. But the vampire, the Count, rather, died so easily. Just fades away like that. I know it's in sunlight, but he should have avoided it. But I did have a good chuckle at the cock.
Oh, he should have shut the curtains.
Yeah, he could have shut the curtains. Could have done anything. He could have gone downstairs.
Well, the guy that played Nosferatu, he died 20th of February 1936, aged just 56.
Yeah, that's quite young, 56. Yeah,
that's pretty young for him, actually. Yeah, that's pretty young.
Well, it's got nothing to do with, the war or nothing like that.
Yeah. No, that's pretty young. Yeah, but yeah, I just felt like it was overly long. Really, the music. Well, the version I watched, I don't know whether there's different types of music in different versions, but it was pretty much sounded the same throughout. Like when we watched Metropolis, which was excellent, the music changed, the version that I watched. But the music was just the same. So it was, a bit repetitive with the music. And I felt like it could have been quicker. So I told you I was going to be the villain in all this. Let's go to favourite moments. Let's start off with Stephen.
The shadow of him going up the stairs, the guy going down to the cellar, and you could see him in the coffin. That was really, 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 really creepy.
Yep, that it?
Yep.
Let's go to Susan. You can do it with the teeth and it's fine.
No, I really can't speak that way eloquently anyway.
Don't worry about speaking eloquently to our viewers. Sorry, I got to correct that. Our viewer. There's not an S at the end. I do apologise.
So
sorry, Fred.
My favorite bits were I loved the shipboard scenes too. I thought it was weird how they went in to harbor under full sail with the captain lashed to the tiller and they didn't run aground, because in all the other kinds of stories of this story. The ship runs aground on the rocks, and then she runs out to the one he loves runs out to save him. So they skipped over that bit because I guess he was strong enough to carry his coffin full of dirt, and he was strong enough to move doors and stuff like that. I guess he was strong enough to turn the ship and protect it and pull it into a dock, I suppose, without going overboard. But anyway, vampires can be really strong, and the other scene I really liked, and I compared it, was the one that was him, Hutter, first showing up at the castle, and him meeting Nosferatu for the first time. And I really liked that bit. That's also one of the plot turning points of this movie, which is based on Nosferatu, which is basically telling the story of how F.W. Murnau made this movie, and F.W. Murnau was played by John Malkovich, and Max Schreck is played by Willem Dafoe, and it's just a really cool movie, and it's called The Shadow of the Vampire, which is kind of cool because apparently in the last sort of title page in the silent movie, they go, and there is such and such resulting from as the city or as the town recovers from the plague, you see that the shadow of the vampire has been lifted, and the peasants are going free, and so that was cool. And the other thing, I do love Nina / Ellen's noble sacrifice. She was the most romantic. She was the most romantic character in the movie.
Oh, it made me want to throw up.
Well, I understand, but as far as I'm concerned,
I'm glad they got torn apart.
No. No, Alad, no. You are wrong.
It was lovey-dovey sending all these love letters to her, then hugging out the side with these over-exaggerated positions, gestures.
Right. Yes.
I mean, who does that? Open store, she goes flying out of there. No one round here.
All right, well, I'm sorry.
So you're going to take back what you said? It was awful.
No, I'm not.
You're glad she died. Thank you, Susan. Let's go to Ethan.
Oh.
Well, a lot of my favourite moments were pretty much with Count Orlok. But oddly enough, in a twisted way, my number one favourite scene is the scene that scared me as a kid. I mean, as a grown adult now, it's just that scene. We've seen Count Orlok with the hat and or before that as the horseman with his scarf wrapped around his mouth, which I thought was quite funny. But I do love that scene where you first see him in the darkness, just one light on him, standing there looking right straight at you. I just find it so funny. That one scared me, but now that is actually my favorite scene. And I do love any scene, like even the bit on the ship where he's walking along the ship's mast. And I did like the bit where he's stacking the coffins up, and it is all like stop motion, like to make it look faster. And of course, he like flies up into the coffin and it goes off. I mean, it's funny watching it now because obviously technology has improved, but yeah, back then it obviously was cutting edge. Another bit I actually like, which is genuinely creepy, is when Hutter goes into the basement and he looks in the coffin and he sees his face through the crack. And his eyes are still open. And he flips up the lid and Count Orlok's there, the usual lay there. But what's interesting is his eyes are totally open, as if he's just laying there, but you don't know if he's asleep, awake, or if he's going to jump out. But that is just one of the things that made him so creepy. It's like he's just never asleep. He's always awake, ready to come after you. And that bit, you know, just is just so eerie, just so unsettling. And it's almost, to me, after watching this film, I just felt he had become his own person. I mean, like, even though he's meant to be Dracula, he's an unauthorized copy of Dracula. Throughout the years, he's basically become his own thing. You've got two separate beings. Dracula, who's the smooth, suave, handsome dude, be it long black hair with a nice beard or just whatever, just a handsome man. Then you've got Count Orlok, who is terrifying as hell, who's a monster. And I've noticed with adaptations where they have gone with that look, they're never handsome or suave or seducing you for sex. They're always coming to get you. It's like nothing matters. They're just coming for you. And I like those vampires. And so all those scenes, any scene with Count Orlok, I loved. Because I just felt, what's he going to do? He's not going to stop. He'll just come after you. Nothing can stop him, sort of thing. And that's done with like vampires like Orlok. And that makes them different. And in a way, now separate people. They've done their own things. But those are pretty much my favorite moments. All the Orlok moments.
You basically wouldn't want to meet him in an alleyway on a dark night, would you?
Yeah. Dracula could probably, he would do like a suave, like, where are you going, my love? Or something, or like handsome person, then kill you. Orlok would just then just kill you. Now Orlok would just stand there, look right into your soul, and then just probably kill you. Not saying anything. He would just probably kill you.
It'd freak you out first, yeah.
Oh, he would.
Just the stare, yeah.
Just the eyes. Stare. There's something about the stare, and even just like you mentioned, the window bit.
Yeah.
It's like they must have said
standing in that window. It's really creepy.
Really, yeah. I actually do remember that when I was a kid of the 80s, watching that and seeing that scene. But I'm sure the director must have said to him, every time you look at the camera, look straight into the lens as if you're looking right out into the audience. So you scare the pants off them and you're looking. Oh,
yeah, it's meant to be looking at the audience. Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's the whole point. Yeah. Yeah.
But I can't think of any other scenes. Those are pretty much my favorite scenes. Oddly enough, a vampire that terrified me as a kid. Now every scene I love because I love it being scary. I love that creepy unsettlingness.
But is it kind of nostalgia as well? Like it's because you still feel that fear that you did as a child. Yeah.
Maybe it is.
That comes back to you, yeah.
In a way, yeah, it is. Because, I mean, I watched it in the dark. I didn't want to wake my mum and dad up. You never turn the lights on as a kid. I watched it in the dark, which was a big mistake for me. But watching this, yeah, I mean, it beats a lot of horror films. I mean, I could name some other horror films we've had recently, like the new It, and other horror films that have done well. But this one, I think it's that black and white style, all black and white, and the makeup comes out more. Because back then, whenever they wear makeup.
But technically, actually, you could turn any film black and white via your telly.
I I'm gonna have to try that now and test it on 8 different horror films now.
Just watch It, the new It in black and white on your telly.
That's a thing. But no.
I bet you won't like it. Bet you won't like it.
Oh, I loved it.
No. I mean, if it was in black and white, you wouldn't like it as much.
Oh, no. Don't know. But who knows? I love black and white films, because I love the sort of creepiness it adds to them when it comes to horror films. But I think that's not just because they're in black and white, but because they're slower. Films, it's a slow
very
death.
quick.
It's a slow death sort of thing.
Yeah.
An old horror film, when they're slower, what's worse, a quick death or a slow death? Count Orlok.
Yeah.
Slow death, that's for you.
You see, things now just happen like that in films, and they don't stop for a break.
What was that? And then, of course, with the slow one, it's just that slow walk towards you sort of thing, and you can't get out.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Is that it?
Yep, that's it.
He's finished, Lee. Off you go. I've been waiting there very patiently, I have to say. Trying to take Alex's crown here. Alex, you need to get back on.
You've picked all the favourite bits.
I know he's picked out. He's literally chosen the whole film.
I was going to say, I was thinking about. I'm thinking the whole film, aren't I? I better shut up now.
There's nothing else to say now.
There's the bit where he's looking at the photograph thing. Your wife's got a very nice neck. Well, that was a bit creepy. That scene there, that was good. And also, nobody's mentioned. I know they've mentioned the scene where he's asleep in the coffin and where he's walking along the ship and all that. But on the ship, where the coffin opens and he just rises up with his hands, that is a brilliant scene. But any scene with Max Schreck playing Count Orlok, as I say, the makeup's brilliant. And to have. He was mostly a thin actor as it is, but mostly the suit made him look thinner as well, because he was really tight trousers, really slim coat. None of us are getting the clothes like that.
Speak for yourself. He was like Jack Skellington in a way, wasn't he, really, with how slim he was?
Like a pencil.
Yeah.
Pencil or insect.
But I want to agree with Alid. I was quite happy when... was it Eileen or whatever her name was? Ellen copped it at the end. She was so annoying right from the beginning of the film. She was a miserable miserable cow. She was.
This is what I'm saying. She annoyed me. That's why I'm glad she died.
Hutter was over the moon. He'd got a job. He had to go there, and she's all miserable.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I was glad she copped it in the end. But yeah, any scene with Max Schreck in it, he stole the movie. Up to you.
Thank you for that, Lee. I don't know what was going on there. Ethan's really said it all. Really, literally, he's picked every scene with the count in, and the count is the best thing about this film. I mean, you could really take every other scene out of this film and just watch the count scenes.
What about the guy that played
Knock?
Oh my God. He was
good. Yeah, he was good. Knock was good.
Oh, I forgot to mention him, yeah.
Yeah, and when he was running away and he was on the roof and he's throwing stones. Because they thought that he'd set the plague off, didn't they? Or something. Yeah. Yeah, we haven't mentioned the plague yet, which is something that really happened. Susan's going to know.
I did.
Oh, you did? Oh, with those teeth, I wouldn't have heard what you were saying. So, yeah, really, the best scenes in this film is anything with Knock, and the Count. Just skip everything else. Just skip, really, the love interest of it, because she was just annoying. The guy, well, he was just bland, really. So yeah, we'll go to final say and score now. We might as well. Let's go with Ethan first.
Yeah. Great themes, great style and tone. Great. I love the whole gothic style of this film. I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10, to be honest.
Oh, wow. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I think it deserves a 10 out of 10, actually. Just the fact it's an unauthorized Dracula adaptation, plagiarism, whatever, but it won. It's still here with us. And we've got...
Yeah, I can't believe it was nearly burnt or destroyed.
I know.
Yeah.
If you think about it, we wouldn't have got some of the vampires that we've mentioned that have that look.
To think if it was burnt or destroyed, I wouldn't have had to watch it. Oh, no.
Oh, boo-hoo. But yeah, I think it deserves a 10 out of 10 from me. I really did enjoy it. It really was enjoyable. So yeah.
Let's go to Stephen. I wonder if Stephen's going to go higher or lower than a 10.
Well, I got to agree with you. That woman deserves to die.
See, why is it everybody is now agreeing with me? Everybody's agreeing with me now. Look at this.
No.
I mentioned it, and everybody's just realised how bad she was. Ethan's now agreeing with me. Thank you, Ethan. This is going well. Susan's already agreed with me. Lee's agreed with me. Let Stephen Price finish his review. His final say.
I just love this movie. The creepiness of the actor who played Nosferatu. A solid 10.
Solid 10. Let's go to Susan. That's our second 10. Are we going to get a third?
I will give it 10 coffins full of Czechoslovakian, Transylvanian dirt.
And throw some rats in while you're at it.
Yeah, shipped from Varna, sort of whatever, to Bremen, London, whatever, aboard a ship that was started off with a crew and ended with nothing. So instead of 10, yeah, okay, I'll give it a 10. But anyway, I love this. I love vampires of all kinds, but my fave are the sexy kind, starting with Frank Langella, ending like with True Blood. It's all about sexy with vampires. But Max Schreck, Nosferatu, was not sexy. He was just creepy as heck. Anyway, that's my last say before I die.
Oh, thanks for that, Susan. Well, please don't die on cast. It's not really appropriate. I don't think we'll get past YouTube with that one. What's the matter, Stephen?
Have we noticed every member in this cast now it's on tonight? Have we noticed every sentence that Aled says, he always laughs? Why?
He's scared to death of vampires. And when you're scared to death of vampires,
can I just say
laugh
something?
Nervously
Wait there.
because you're absolutely scared to death of vampires.
Get back in your coffin, Susan. Get back in your coffin. I'm not laughing now, Stephen Price. No, I am. Let's go to Lee, because we have to.
I'm not. I'm going to give it a 9.
Oh,
give it a 9 because it would have got a 10. It would have got a 10 if it was in 3D.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Yeah,
actually, yeah. Can you imagine that being in 3D? That would have.
Wouldn't it be great if it was in VR? Like he was right there, stood in front of you.
Oh, that's already. I've already got the chills that I had when I was a kid. Thanks for bringing those back.
Ethan, he could be in the room with you. He could be in the room sucking your
Sucking what?
Ethan,
sucking
was
your neck.
scared and now he's
Oh, he's not going to suck what I think he's going to suck.
No, sucking your neck.
Oh, right.
Bloody
Oh, I thought he was going to suck something else and bite it off.
God, these lot have got dirty minds, haven't they? Sucking your neck, Ethan. Jeez. That's just wishful thinking at that point, Ethan. Just sucking your neck, all right?
We've gone from like the horror, the monstrous side, slowly into the intense sexual side of the vampires.
Susan's ready.
Susan's happy about that.
Anyway, I'm not going to give it a 10. I'm not going to give it a 9. I'm going to give it an 8. Because it is a classic. I mean, you've got to remember, this is 1922. Like Lee says, this is nearly 100 years old, getting onto it. So
96-year-old it is.
Yeah, this is 96 years old. You know, that's what my gran would have been now. I think my gran was born in 1922. That's how old she would be now. So to think about that.
Art.
My gran was born in 1899.
You know, 1899.
Art.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think that's about when Bram Stoker wrote Dracula. Was in the late 1800s.
But really, I give it an 8, really, because of the Count. And just how he is so creepy. And even, I've never seen this film before. It's the first time I've seen it. But he's so creepy. I mean, yeah, the love interest knocks it down and the guy's a bit boring. But for creepiness, it's great for creepiness. I mean, really, he is one of the most creepiest characters, I think, in film, really. I mean, just the way he looks.
Yep.
So, yeah, I'm going to give it an 8. I think an 8's a fair score for it.
Yep.
So tell us below what
For
you
someone
make
who doesn't even ever watch horror flicks, right?
Yeah, no, I don't watch horror, yeah. I mean, this isn't gory. I mean,
it's called
gory
the
horror,
Symphony of Horror.
Yeah. Yeah, it is, but it's not scary. It's atmospheric, but it's not... It's creepy, but it's not...
Yeah, it's creepy. It's atmospherically creepy.
Yeah, it's not scary as in jump scares or stuff like that.
But I think those work better, actually. Jump scares can work sometimes, but a creepy atmosphere, I think, works better because it's like you don't know what's coming. And it's just that unsettling. That feel of being unsettled.
Yeah. You like to feel unsettled, dear Ethan?
I feel like that every time I do.
You should live in hell. You should live in hell.
I think we sometimes.
I suggest you move to hell if you like being
unsettled
unsettled.
earlier when I thought you were going to say he's going to suck something, but hey ho.
Hey oh.
Well, the night's only young, Ethan. The night's only young.
You're going to come on window across the house. No one's in there. Still abandoned.
Anyway, I would like to thank everybody here for joining me. Yes, that does include Lee, but just slightly. I'd like to thank you for watching, Fred. Don't forget, Fred, I know you're already a subscriber, Fred, but, just double check that YouTube hasn't unsubscribed you.
Yeah.
Look after yourself. Take care, and we will see you next time.